Well, welcome to the panel discussion today on functional safety in the evolving automotive market. My name is Mark Hoops. I'm the Director of Industrial and Automotive at Lattice Semiconductor. Thank you for joining us. Christian, can you introduce yourself, please?
Yes, thanks, Mark. So I'm Christian Müller. I'm the system architect for Automotive at Lattice, and I look after all things related to technology around our devices, software ecosystem, and so on in the automotive industry.
Dinu, can you introduce yourself, please?
Yeah, thank you, Mark. My name is Dinu Promise, and I've got about 16 years experience in automotive embedded systems, basically design, analysis, and assessment of safety critical systems in automotive, agricultural machinery, and rail industries. And I've managed multiple projects as a functional safety manager, ensuring safety across different life cycle stages. And I'm the practice manager, functional safety practice manager in Tata Elxsi. Yeah.
Thank you. So functional safety has always been important for automotive applications, and it's becoming even more important as we get more and more legislation and more safety functions added to vehicles. But first of all, let's talk about what is functional safety. So it got started originally with requirements being derived for the industrial market, and those then were adapted into other markets such as automotive. Can you talk a little bit about what functional safety enables, Christian?
Yes, sure. So if we look into the automotive market, then we're seeing a few trends at the moment where we're seeing a lot of activities from the tier one side, from the OEM side, and obviously also from our side. So if we look into the electrification, which is really a mega trend in the automotive industry at the moment, and we are moving really high voltages and currents around. That obviously means if something goes wrong, really human lives is at harm. So we need to make sure that those systems are operating in a safe way and can be moved into safe states. Then we have everything around the centralization inside the vehicle. Yeah, we talked the software-defined vehicles. When you abstract everything upwards in terms of the in terms of the holistic way of how the car has been looked at, then that needs to be operated in a safe way. Otherwise, a lot of things can go wrong around the way. And then lastly, when we look into ADAS functionality, so automotive driving assistance systems, then those are obviously there to help make roads safer for everyone involved in it. So functional safety then becomes even more critical. Right? If those systems go wrong, then this braking assistant doesn't stop on time anymore, then it's almost like it wouldn't be there. So I think there's a lot of those involved, and I think they are everywhere. Say functional safety plays a key role to safe systems.
Yeah, very much agree to Christian in the sense EV, future mobility. Yeah.
Okay, so other things that are really key about ADAS. Usually what happens is you have many different cameras that give the car the ability to see the environment around them, supplemented with radar and LiDAR, and all these fit together to help provide redundancy and additional safety, and in terms of the overall vehicle and design. Some things that FPGAs provide in those areas is the ability to connect all those, provide flexibility in the system, real-time processing. Danu, can you provide a little bit more insight on how functional safety is implemented in the vehicles?
Okay. Maybe let me be a bit more specific. Let me open with a technical description of what functional safety means. So functional safety is defined as absence of unacceptable risk due to a system malfunction. And most of us are familiar with ISO 26262, which came out in 2011, and we have a new version in 2018, which basically handles safety of electronic and electric systems, the EE systems in automotive. And the ISO 26262 has requirements, guidelines, and recommendations for all product development lifecycle stages. but it looks into the system as a black box. But ADAS and autonomous driving is very complex when compared to legacy automotive electronic and electric system, where the environmental conditions also can cause system failures. Maybe an example, maybe a sensor not getting correct data due to weather conditions or like rain, like snow, or another example can be a sun glare, uh, you know, which impacts the camera, the data from the camera, and humans can handle all these situations. However, for an autonomous system, that needs sophisticated mechanisms to handle all these situations. And to handle these, as I've mentioned, ISO 26262 has its own limitations where it only looks into the system as a black box, and only the systematic random hardware failures and the software failures are considered in ISO 26262. So ADAS and AD, as I've mentioned, request more than what ISO 26262 offers. And for that, there is a standard, there is a new standard, SOTIF, safety of intended functionality, which is ISO 21448, which applies to functionality that requires proper situational awareness or in order to be safe. And this SOTIF standard provides guidance or in-depth guidance to design, verification, and validation measures. And applying these measures helps to achieve functional safety. And maybe an example would be lane keeping assist, a highway pilot system, highway cruise system, adaptive cruise control can be an example of a system where you really need a situational awareness or more than what ISO 26262 offers. And yeah, that's what we see in the automotive market. A lot of ADAS systems, you can see every now and then you have a new feature added to the automotive world. And yeah, that's it from my end, Mark.
Yeah, great, thank you. Christian, you want to comment a little bit on the hardware software ecosystem, the process around it, and maybe risk categories and things like that?
Yeah, sure. I mean, I think when we look at maybe we need to look at first what we as Lattice bring to the table. Not everybody might be necessarily aware of what Lattice offering looks like, right? So we look into, first of all, we are an FPGA company, so we provide the FPGA devices, our hardware around that. On top of that, we bring our development tools, and our latest tool is the Radiant software tool for enabling all of our customers to develop FPGA specific code through RTL, which is like VHDL or Verilog, system Verilog languages to program those devices. Right? And while we are not certifying necessarily our devices for functional safety, we do certify our tools and validate that against legislation authorities like TÜV Süd or TÜV Rheinland here in Germany. And with that, we enable our customers to use our tools and our devices in functional safe environments. Additionally to our tool, we also build IP blocks, and which we are providing to customers. But not all of those IPs on our side are necessarily for functional safety workloads. But we also work with partners like Tata here together in our ecosystem. We bring into opportunities or designs with our tier one OEM customers in the automotive space to enable and to build function safe systems on the actually FPGA level, but also moving into it on a systematic level.
Yeah, great. Thanks, Christian. So, we talked a little bit about defining the safety and an important role in it. In terms of the implementation and processes, you first define kind of what your goals are. You understand the benefits and the features and functions of the FPGAs. Can you talk a little bit about the tools and processes in terms of the implementation phase? Dinu?
Yeah, okay. Yeah. So the process, I would say there are two parts to it. So one is the organization specific process and another is the project specific process. So I would like to see this as three pillars in functional safety, where the first part is to have a basic safety policy for any organization. So starting with the templates, the guidelines, and all the processes required, adequate processes required to meet functional safety. And that is the first pillar. And then it's the audit and assessment where we look into what is done in a project and is it achieved in a project. And the third pillar is execution, where you need engineers, I would say competent engineers to do functional safety projects. So those are the three pillars in functional safety. And when you look into, when you speak more technically or when you look into the system, I would say we follow V cycle process, where we start with, in a functional safety process, we start with an item definition, where you understand the system, you have a basic system design, a higher level concept design, and how the interfaces of the system with other systems, and how the system can fail and how the failure can have an impact on humans. So we start with item definition in the concept phase, and then on the item we perform a hazard analysis and risk assessment. So where we look into this item, all the functionalities, how the functionalities can fail and how this failure can impact humans, and we assign ASILs to it. So ASIL A to ASIL D, and ASIL A being the lowest ASIL, and ASIL D is life critical or the highest ASIL level. So, and then from the hazard analysis and risk assessment, we derive the safety goals. Maybe as an example, which everyone can relate to, maybe in a steering system, the safety goal can be like, there shall be no reverse assist, there shall be no jump assist. Yeah, so such kind of safety goals we derive in the functional safety concept phase. And then in the further refinement, we go more system specific, where we, what we call as a system requirement, we define from the safety goals, we define the functional safety requirements, and those in fact drive the whole functional safety of the whole product life cycle, I would say. Then we move to the system design, where we system requirements, where we further refine the functional safety requirements to technical safety requirements, which are kind of like system requirements which are related to functional safeties. So yeah, so this is the process, and then it splits to hardware and software. We'll have hardware safety requirements and then software safety requirements, and it moves to separate parts, Mark. So that's in short. Maybe I can talk the whole day about the process.
Yeah, no, I really appreciate it. I mean, I think as you can all tell, Tata is an extremely valuable partner in providing functional safety consulting and services for implementing designs in FPGA. So really appreciate that. So, as an FPGA company, you might be wondering, why is Lattice so involved in it? And the reason is that FPGAs are extremely valuable in vehicles because they're adaptable. You can develop designs quickly. They implement parallel processing, and they're very deterministic. So you know what you're going to get each time. It's very repeatable. They're very good at enabling connecting up to various different sensors, processing things in real time, connecting into various centralized processors that may need different interfaces. And in particular, Lattice FPGAs are, first of all, we're the volume leader in the market, and we have extremely low power and small size devices. And they're exceptionally reliable in terms of the failure rate. So really, really ideal for the automotive market. Christian, you want to talk a little bit more about specific benefits that you've seen in the automotive space from your experience?
Sure, Mark. Why not? So, if we look into I mean, I think you went nailed on with the flexibility of the FPGA, right? So FPGAs really give flexibility, and that's the key value around the product FPGA in all market segments where you're looking to. And when we look into the automotive industry in specific, then we are seeing that customers, like if it's a tier one who wants to sell to the automotive manufacturing, that they don't want to build systems only for one end customer from their side. They're trying to build a platform level of hardware, which they can scale for different end customer needs at one point. And even if we look into the car manufacturing sites, and they have different types of model classes and so on, which all require different feature sets. And then you have, even inside one class of a car, you have different options to select if you want more the premium system here, or the more an entry level system here, depending on the budget of the end customer who buys the car, right? So the FPGA enables that kind of interface flexibility. If you look into an in-cabin example, when you look into the amount of displays we're seeing today, if you take a really high-end vehicle, then you have easily 3-4 displays directly in the front of the vehicle, right? And an FPGA allows to connect all of those displays to a single video source, while in an entry-level device on a different type of vehicle from the same car manufacturer or from tier one delivered to a car manufacturer, they might need for one display, they wouldn't need that necessarily. But if they want 2, 3, 4 connected to it, then they just use an FPGA to enable that by using the same scalable hardware architecture at the end. Building that. And the other thing is where we see FPGAs really is every time there is not existing a current, perfect fitting solution. And FPGAs really give that capability of time to market, being early adapters in spaces. So currently we're seeing, new cameras, ADAS cameras are coming to the space where really FPGAs, there are no dedicated devices for it, but FPGAs bring that type of availability and flexibility to it, that you can easily do all of this kind of workload in a very commercial competitive, but also power and performance competitive environment. So that is the other area where FPGAs really play. So it's always the connectivity from one side to another, I would say, which gives that great flexibility. And then really those market segments where we're really evolving and where it's unclear what the standard looks like, or comes functional safety. How is functional safety going to impact in this further? What is the things? Then FPGAs are a great play to move forward. And I think that is exactly why FPGAs are sold in the automotive industry quite heavily, and why we are, as a company, investing in that market segment and building solutions, build ecosystems, and so on.
Thanks, Christian. Dino, can you give us a little bit of your perspective, some of your experience in designing FPGA benefits in safety applications?
Yeah, so everything is covered now. But I would add that FPGA is undoubtedly a revolution, or I would say it revolutionized the way digital systems are defined, maybe faster time to market, adaptability, reprogrammability, and I believe it's a future of embedded systems, FPGAs. Yeah.
Yeah, thanks. And can you give a couple of examples of designs you've worked on, just relative in terms of cameras and things like that you've done in the past with Lattice?
Yeah, we can do that. I can do that. So basically, here in Tata Elxsi, we have a dedicated team of functional safety engineers. So we work like a horizontal team which supports the verticals like the ADAS and AD, the EV and HEV, the body and chassis verticals which we have internally. And that is definitely, we've worked together. It has been a great association. And together as a design partner, we have done an ADAS IR camera, which was basically an IEEE 1588 implementation for IR data over Ethernet, which was, I believe it was for ASIL-B compliant. Yeah. And then again, a thermal camera, which was ASIL-B compliant. And another example is another project where we've done ADAS level 2 automated parking system, which was ASIL-B compliant. So those are some examples. I'm not listing the whole list of projects which I've done with this, but just a couple of examples which I've done, or projects which I've done. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you. So yeah, just kind of summarizing things up. You probably heard a million times flexibility and adaptability, low power, parallel processing, giving the extreme reliability as well. These are all rapid time to market. These are all great reasons why FPGAs are used, in particular Lattice FPGAs. And I just want to thank Christian and Dino for your comments and insight. And if you'd like to learn more about functional safety and how Lattice FPGAs can help solve challenges in the automotive market, please visit our website. There's a link down on the screen below. And follow us on LinkedIn, Facebook, and Twitter. Thank you again for your time.
Thank you.
Thanks, Mark. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you for the time. Yeah.